Maura, yo entiendo todo lo que leo y puedo hablar sin problema, pero todavía me cuesta mucho escuchar porque el español es demasiado rápido. ¿Qué hago? Te entiendo. Claramente la mejor estrategia es seguir practicando, pero puedo ayudarte a entender qué pasa con el español cuando es rápido. Así sabrás en qué fijarte.
Alex's complaint is one we get all the time, and like I said, I understand. I'm Maura from Spring Spanish, and in this video we'll cover the different aspects that come into play when you're struggling to understand fast Spanish. Empecemos. Número 1. Focus on chunks.
Para empezar, es muy importante que no intentes entender cada palabra por separado. O sea, busco los chunks. Sí, mientras más asociaciones tengas, más fácil será deducir el resto. Vale, entonces es como enfocarse en el mensaje general. Casi, sí.
What we're going for here is trying to imitate what happens to you in your native language. When you're buying groceries and they ask, "Do you need a bag?" you don't really hear each word separately. El contexto, su asociación con determinados chunks y la palabra bolsa son más que suficiente. Same with Spanish.
Pero, ¿cómo hago para saber qué chunks podría escuchar en cada momento? Estudia, practica y prepárate.
You don't need to know everything about Spanish. Look at children in their native language. They only work with the part of the language that applies to them. Same thing with you. So, identifica lo que necesitas del español. Are you learning Spanish for work, for traveling, to communicate with someone specifically? Empieza por esa parte del idioma and the chunks that it most commonly includes. Utiliza esos chunks. The more you use them yourself, the more detectable they become no matter who says it. Chunk alert! Did you know that casi can work as a synonym for más o menos? Now you do. Use it just the same, like la comida está casi lista. Estoy casi clara, pero necesito entender un par de cosas más. Now, I hope that everyone watching has already gotten their free Essential Spanish Chunking Kit through that link in the description. If you haven't, I don't want to hear no casi. Go get it. Número 2. Understand the most common contractions and omissions.
Otra parte muy importante es entender desde ya qué sonidos se juntan. Como los ojos. Exacto. Naturalmente eso suele sonar todo junto. Sí, los ojos. Tal cual, solo los separaríamos si estamos enfatizando.
I'll give you my best tips to understand fast Spanish at the end of this video, but first, let's concentrate on contractions. Just like it happens in English, if a word ends with a consonant and the next word starts with a vowel, they will usually stick together. Like, mi novio le tiene miedo a las alturas. Two vowels together, like miedo a, will always sound together as well. No sé por qué tus hermanos no comen arroz. Remember that the H is mute in Spanish, so hermanos starts with a vowel sound too. Es un tipo bien cerebral y amable. Cerebral y amable. Notice that the most common consonants that end words in Spanish are D. Humildad, felicidad, caridad. La humildad a veces cansa. Not la humildad a veces cansa, but la humildad a veces cansa. N. Quieren, vienen, saben. Ellos vienen antes para ayudar a cocinar. S. Buscas carros, frutas. Las frutas están dañadas. El, tal, cual, cerebral. ¿Cuál es tu nombre? Know that there's virtually no difference in pronunciation between the singular cuál es and the plural cuáles. ¿Cuáles? ¿Cuáles? Are, triturar, vacilar, pensar. Pensar antes de actuar es buena idea. Z, voz, veloz, precoz. ¡Qué niña tan precoz y avispada! También tienes que tener en cuenta que ciertos sonidos pueden omitirse. Pero, ¿se omiten si la persona habla mal o es correcto? Eso ya depende más del acento y de la persona en sí. Oralmente no tiene nada de malo, solo no vayas a escribirlo. A menos que sean mensajes de texto, claro. The most common sounds we'll omit are omitting S at the end of the word. I'm calling this an omission because I understand and respect that that is how it sounds to most of you. Ahora, permíteme hacer una necesaria aclaración. In most cases, there's no actual omission. It's a change in pronunciation that happens very naturally in most Spanish-speaking countries. Es más una cuestión del idioma que de acento. Here's a little experiment for you to compare. Las cajas están abajo. In my most natural accent and speed, I would say, las cajas están abajo. I'm breathing in the S and it sounds like a J in Spanish, or an H in English, the ha 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 sound. There's no omission. If I actually omitted the S, this is how it would sound. La caja están abajo. This will hardly happen. Even countries like Puerto Rico or República Dominicana would probably omit one of those S, but not all. Most Spanish speakers do what I do and inhale the S to some degree. Omitting D at the end of the word. Can you guess what's about to happen? De nuevo, no hay omisión real la mayor parte del tiempo. D is a soft sound in Spanish. Very rarely we pronounce D like in English. So, if you find it at the end of words, it'll sound even softer, like La caridad es importante. Let's compare. La caridad es importante. Small d, inhaled S. Actual omission, la caridad es importante. With D, it is more likely that you'll actually find people who omit it. Again, mostly in Caribbean countries like República Dominicana, Puerto Rico, Cuba, y Venezuela. To be honest, that D is a rather irrelevant sound at the end of words. Para becomes pa. This does happen all the time. Yo puedo decirla o no decirla. Other countries mostly say it, others mostly don't, like uno pa ti y uno pa mí. Número 3. Pronunciations that change depending on the country. Otra cosa que va a ayudarte un montón es familiarizarte con los distintos tipos de español. Eso me da nervios. Hay muchos sitios que pronuncian todo distinto. En realidad no son tantos y no son tantos sonidos. ¿En serio? ¿Cómo es entonces? The ones that will make the biggest difference are Argentina and Uruguay. Double L and J sound like SH in English. So they say, ya te llamo. If this use of ya throws you off a bit, I gotcha. In this video, I explained almost everything that ya can do in Spanish. Spoiler alert, it's a lot. Yo creo que va a llover. Puerto Rico might swap an R for an L and vice versa in the middle of the word. Fishermen and natives from Margarita, the island where I'm from, will do this too. And certain people in Andalucía, España as well. Things like Puerto Rico or hijo de mi arma. Puerto Rico can also drag the double R sound like French does. So you could hear arrastrar la R. Las gacelas corren súper rápido. España has its own pronunciation for S and another one for both C and Z. We don't do this in Latin America. It's not that hard though. Think of the S as having more air, like en España la S suena distinto. And the C and Z sound like TH in English. Things like los zapatos están sucios. Número 4. Tips and ideas for you to practice with. Now, Juan did make this video solely focused on tips to understand native speakers. Pero mientras tanto, here's a little list of things you could and should do to support you in listening to fast Spanish. Practica mucho escuchando español. Especially important that there are different speakers, different resources. No escuches español ralentizado. Manage the difficulty by subjects, grammatical complexity, and vocabulary rather than by speed. Also watch this video where Juan explains all this in depth. No descuides el aprendizaje de nuevo vocabulario. This is a rather simple thing that can have major impacts on your listening skills. When you can't understand something because it's too fast, deconstruct it, like escúchalo varias veces, lee la transcripción o utiliza subtítulos, revisa la traducción, repite hasta que lo entiendas todo. Haz esto con muchos recursos diferentes. I really hope this empowers you to keep fighting to understand our beautiful, fast, and multicolored language. Not long ago, I made a video about Spanish being a fast language where you can test your own speed. Click the image on the screen and let me know how you did. Nos vemos allá.